When I was younger, I would see that a lot of Chabad Hasidim have this minhag that they have menorahs on top of their cars. And I wondered a lot about it. Somebody in Yeshiva came in today. I guess we're headed. We're not in Kislev yet. We're still in the middle of Cheshvan. But the month after Cheshvan is Kislev, I guess. What?
Tonight is 30 days.
So 30 days. 30 days of Hanukkah. And I saw some of the menorah. When I was younger, CJ, I wondered about it a lot. Part of me even growing up and still caring, being a Yid, that halacha is so huge, it like almost bothered me because that's not the halacha. Menorah on a car, that's not the halacha. There's a halacha, very exact halachas where a menorah is supposed to be. And any outreach to Yidden should be done in the parameter of halacha. Even public lightings were confusing to me. Now, there is a minhag Yisrael to light in shul. That's a chiddush, a minhag Yisrael, and we make a bracha on a minhag, but there's not a minhag Yisrael. You can't just light wherever you want in shul. There's a minhag Yisrael, and there's halacha in the house. You can't light a menorah on top of your car. That's not the law, and we have to keep the law. Even lighting a menorah in a public, on a block somewhere, is not pasha to make a bracha. Would be a suffix bracha levatala, not so pasha. You'd have to look really, and it made me wonder what was happening. And when I've gotten older and I've studied the Rebbe more and studied his Torah, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, I read that he faced tremendous backlash. When he did this whole menorah campaign, whether putting menorahs on cars or lighting in public places, he got tremendous yellings for it. Both from halachic people like me, he got yellings that this is not the halacha. And again, the Rebbe cared about halacha tremendously. And he got tremendous negative feedback from guys like me and from people who weren't yet frum, who were very embarrassed from being Yidden, who felt like this is bad, you're shaming us. I built one of the first sukkahs in Waterbury in 50 years by a private person. I made a sukkah. My wife and I had a beer. We were having a child, and we were here sukkahs. There were 9 frum families in the city. We were having a little child, and we stayed for sukkahs, and we built the sukkah right next to our house. And old people who lived in the community came by. They couldn't believe it. The shul had a sukkah, but there was no sukkah in the entire city of Waterbury. And Yidden and Goyim knocked on it. Goyim asked us about it, and the old Yidden asked. And most people are cool, like very moved by it. These people built the hut and moved in. It was next to my house. It was not in the backyard. It was next to my house. And I try to move in. I sleep there. I live in my sukkah. And people knocked, asked us about it. One old Jewish couple, 2 beautiful souls, came to scream at me. And they said it's an eyesore and were very, very angry about the sukkah. Beautiful Yidden. And they told me it's an eyesore. That was the words they used, an eyesore. They're beautiful Yidden. The Shirish always look at the roots of where people are coming from. They actually care about Yidden. People, either they went through the Holocaust or friends of theirs, and were very, very scared of attracting attention to Yidden, which I completely understand the fears. A lot of European Yidden, if they see a Yid wear a talis in the street, freak. Because they say you're drawing attention, they literally look at it that you're threatening the lives of Yidden, literally. So building a sukkah set off. If anything, wearing a talis, if you ever meet a European and an American yeshiva guy wears a talis, you guys don't know these Europeans because they're a generation removed. They're in Olam Haba. My age group, if we wore a talis in the street, many of us were yelled at by people, older people, very upset. And the sense, every generation has its sugya, but we were criticized and said, you're a dangerous guy. So this couple came to my sukkah. They're protectors of Yidden. And they gave me an earful that you built an eyesore. Now, they were not worried that it didn't look very nice. My sukkah happened to look really nice. And obviously, they're afraid of drawing attention, Yidden, Yiddishkeit. So I lived this sukkah and the Rebbe said that he was screamed at a lot by people like that. cars with a menorah on the top, lighting public menorahs. So he got yelled at from all different angles. He described he got tremendous attack from two different angles for doing what he did. Both he got attacked from people that were nervous, you're drawing attention to Yiddishkeit and should be quieter, and both from people who said it's not halachic. I want to tell you what I read from somebody claimed the Rebbe said. I can't prove this, but I read it from a source that I consider reliable. Said that what the Rebbe said is that he felt that Chanukah is a chag that has tremendous spiritual benefits, like every chag. And our souls crave Chanukah. It's a chag. It's the chag of Galus. It's a chag that was a send-off into Galus, and he felt that Yidden need Chanukah, and he felt it did not reach a lot of Yidden. And he was desperate to bring Chanukah to the masses. They should know what it is, to create an awareness to this entity called Chanukah. And he badly wanted to bring it to the masses. Now it's interesting, the very Chag of Chanukah speaks about Pirsum Nisa, publicizing the miracle. So the very task that we have of lighting a menorah is lefarsem hanes, to publicize the miracle. And the Rebbe had this burning passion to get Chanukah to the masses. And he was willing to do something that is a little bizarre. Now, I'm not coming for the halachic. He was a halachic person who was a Talmud Chacham muflig and knew halacha and was not willing, he did not compromise. And one can discuss, can you make a bracha in public? And it's a very cool shaila. And a sugya to learn, and he learned the sugya. He was a halachic person. I'm not learning the sugya with you right now. It's a good question. Are you allowed to make a bracha on a menorah in a public square? Clearly, he came out of the sugya that you can. Yeah. What they make a bracha. His talmidim and chasidim make a bracha. I believe Shemi. It seems so. It seems I don't know. Again, one has to learn the sugya, and he was somebody who learned the sugyas in Shas. I can't explain his. He has writings. One can study his writings. His chasidim do it. They're very loyal to the Rebbe's teachings. So, but what I want to bring out is not the halachic machlokes and aspect, and not the ashkafic thing. I want to bring out that here's a Yid who had to understand this passion that Yidden should have Chanukah. There's no question about it. Maybe the most known Chag in the world today is Chanukah. Goyim know about Chanukah. That was not his interest. He wanted Yidden to know about Chanukah. I think it's the Chag today in America that's the most widely known. Literally the most assimilated person who knows very little about Yiddishkeit knows about the menorah. It probably is due to the Rebbe. The credit he gets in accessing Chanukah to the nation, to our special nation, is wild. And the thought of what a Yid wanted, I'm not getting involved in the technique and the halachic shaila, but a Yid was passionate that Yidden should have Chanukah. And he had a plan, a practical plan. He researched it la halacha, and again, you can't break halacha because you have a want. It was within a psak of halacha, but the Yid accessed Chanukah to the nation, and Klal Yisrael made a deeper attachment to Chanukah. Is something that's, if I've ever heard of somebody who had a plan and a thought and a holy plan. He had a plan. Yidden should connect to a chag called Chanukah. They should connect to it. They should want it. They should celebrate it. They should understand it. There's something very, very touching about a man's plan. It's interesting to attack from far. From far, we could say things and attack. When you hear the machshavos of a Yid, that Yidden should have a chag, he literally wanted to invite Klal Yisrael to Chanukah. I was moved beyond when I read about it. So I saw today a menorah on a car. I want to share this morning, Bashkachas Hashem. It wasn't what I was going to say in Musar today, but a friend of mine who I trust a lot told me today, somebody I look up to a lot. This morning I spoke on the phone, and he asked me if I ever heard this. He said he heard this from reliable sources. All of us know that Chabad Hasidim put tefillin on Yidden. So he asked me if I know the Rebbe's cheshbon. So to me, I love the mitzvah of tefillin. Tefillin is the crown of a Yid. It's the crown of Torah. It's a crown on a Yid. And I like the picture of Yidden and Tefillin. If I'd say the mitzvah of our yeshiva is Tefillin, every dar has its mitzvah. In every environment, the mitzvah of Waterbury Mesivta is Tefillin. There's something about Tefillin. I have many stories in the yeshiva about Tefillin. All different stories and experiences, and I say that there's a tremendous, I watch in this base medrash, people come in here and putting on tefillin. I watch people put on tefillin, and it just seems it's a mitzvah that resonates by guys. The mitzvah of tefillin, it's the crown of a Yid, the celebration of I'm a Yid. I have shaychus to Torah, I have shaychus to Hashem. Tefillin's the precious mitzvah that elevates a Yid. And a Yid puts on his tefillin and is elevated. He becomes a place of Ashras Hashchina. A Yid's elevated. Yeah. Somebody told me, a Ben Torah from our Beis Medrash told me that they're very upset at Hashem. And they said that they're not doing the extras. L'fnei Mishuras Hadin, they're not doing extras. They feel like they have a certain hurt. They were working through things. So somehow I asked about, are you putting on tefillin? The person said, of course I'm putting on tefillin. I said, I thought you were upset. So no, I'm not. He said, the things that Hashem gave me that are good for me, I'm not taking away. He said, I feel different when I feel tefillin, I'm elevated. He said, what Hashem gave as a gift to me, I'm not returning millions of dollars to him. I'm doing things that I feel for him. That I can't do. What's for me, this person felt tefillin. He said, what's for me, I wouldn't not do. He said, I put on tefillin, I'm elevated, I love the tefillin. He said, so tefillin seems to be mitzvah. Now, this person asked me if I knew why the Rebbe asked his Hasidim to put tefillin on people. So I told him I never had a kasha. That wasn't something that ever bothered me. Of course he should put tefillin. He told me, this friend of mine this morning, told me that the Rebbe's cheshbon to put tefillin, it's amazing. He said, you think the Rebbe's Hasidim go around, they ask, are you Jewish? He said his main kavan is the guy should say, yes, I'm a Yid. He said if the guy says, I'm not putting on tefillin, he said he's a Yid. He said the Rebbe's kavana is he wanted his Hasidim to ask, are you a Yid? Wow. And the Yid to say, yes, I'm a Yid. Yeah, I'm a Yid. Oh, excellent. He said that now I'm sure he wanted the tefillin also. But this beautiful person wanted Yidden to acknowledge I'm a Yid. So he had his Hasidim put tefillin. I'm sure he wanted tefillin also. I'm sure. A friend of mine told me this morning from my friend's reliable, and he told me from a reliable source that he wanted that conversation. Are you a Yid? Yes, I'm a Yid. That conversation. The next step, that I'm not putting on tefillin. The Rebbe was already happy. The person said, I'm a Yid. Oh, you're a Yid. The guy announced he's a Yid. I'm a Yid. And he wanted that conversation. You're a Yid? Yeah, I'm a Yid. We should go around yeshiva. We should ask, you're a Yid? I'm a Yid. Guys insulted. You ask some people, they get very insulted. I'm sure a lot of Chabad Hasidim, yeah, I'm a Yid. The guy like so proud of chutzpah, you ask him. We've all had cases where we ask, are you Yid? The guy gets upset at you. Of course I'm a Yid. And the Rebbe wanted the person to announce himself, I'm a Yid. Not amazing, Avi? That a guy should announce, Ich bin a Yid. Yes, I'm a Yid. The next step, maybe you put on tefillin. The guy said, yeah, halavai. Guy said, no, I'm not putting on today. But he already accomplished something. The guy said, yes, I'm a Yid. You ever heard this, Dave? I was very, very moved by the kavanas. So that's what Rav Johnny, seeing a car with a menorah on top, was ma'ir me that I have to say it today. I have to say this, might say, yes, I'm a Yid. I very badly wanted, does anybody else know the niggin that you taught us yesterday with Chaim? Who else knows it? David and Yehuda come up. The Chevra wants to hear it again. Martha, you know the song? Get up. A very special person told me. Where's CJ? Where is he? CJ, come forward. Oh, no. Ellie, you know it? Kamel Ellie. Only when he wants. Everybody should join. Everybody, let's join in. I want to learn a sugya. Avi and I started learning the sugya. It's a sugya that's percolating on my mind this week. We're going to touch one aspect of it. And then I want to meet with the Chevra about a plan for tomorrow. So the sugya I want to study, we're going to study a sugya and plan out a detail about tomorrow.
We do the name in the background.
The sugya, it's still there. It's gorgeous.
Delicious.
Yeah. Beautiful soul. Beautiful soul. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, CJ. Thank you, CJ. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Yehuda. Thank you. Rabbi say like this. In the parsha, there's a medrash that Rashi brings that I want to, Zevi, learn a little more sophisticated. Mathis and Alicia, like this. Rashi brings a medrash. Hashem appears to Avram Avinu, the beginning of Parshas Vayera. So Hashem appears to Avram Avinu, Vayera love Hashem in Eloinei Mamre. And the Torah tells us where Avram Avinu was when Hashem appeared to Avram. It's a fascinating pasuk because it's so detailed. Vayere love Hashem. Hashem appeared to him. Eloine Mamre. Mamre was a man. Eloine translate the plains of Mamre. It means in Mamre's field, in Mamre's yard, if you will. God appears to Avram and a fellow named Mamre. There's a guy named Mamre, in Mamre's yard. Interesting. And then it's explicit what Avram Avinu was doing. And he was sitting. Interesting pasuk. There's no conversation, by the way. God doesn't tell Avram anything. We're not told about any conversation, and that's the end of that. The Torah, it's not like later on after he comes back. Very interesting, fascinating pasuk. Very fascinating pasuk. Hashem appears to Avram. Now, For anybody who studies Torah, there are many diyukim in the pasuk. It says Vayere love Hashem. It should say Vayere Lavram. And Hashem appeared to Avram. It says a love to him. It doesn't say Hashem appeared to Avram. It says to him. This was a turning point. This story Vayere love Hashem. Ve'loine Mamre was a turning point in Avram Avinu's life. He was zoiche here to a different type of connection to Hashem. Beforehand, when Avram Avinu had nevuos, his body would shake. There were neviim, when they had nevuah, the physical body would be shaking. They would be in some state, their body was just going nuts. Because Hashem was coming and they were connecting to Hashem, but there were parts that were like almost struggling with that connection. You have a physical part. Our souls are always very kosher to Hashem. But we have a body, and by many Nevi'im, the body would shake. Avram Avinu, Vayere love Hashem, is brought in Svarim that Hashem appeared to Avram to every aspect. It says to him, not to Avram. Our name represents the deepest part of ourselves. So to Avram, I should say, I'm Daniel Pinchas, but then I have parts of me that I haven't brought into my name. There are parts of me that are just dudes. And those parts, Vayere love Hashem means that Hashem connected to every part of Avram Avinu. He came in Merkava L'Shchina, Hashem appeared to him. It describes Avram Avinu as like chilling. He's sitting, he's sitting, Pesach, this profound connection to Avram, to every aspect of Avram. If you want to tie in the Nigla with the Nistar, in the hidden world, this refers to Giluyim that are very, very deep, and every aspect of Avram was connected to Hashem. In the revealed Torah, it speaks about Avram Avinu that we learn from here. When you're judging, judges should sit. Avram wasn't judging. What's going on here? We learn Dayanim sit down in the presence of Hashem. Elokim nitza badas kel. God hovers and judges judge, and they stay seating in a deep way. Living la halacha is bringing halacha, saying that even my mundane aspects, I go to work, a yid can be connected to Hashem. It's bringing our physical connected to Hashem. And in Psak, you could sit in the presence of God, means even when you're not oimed and standing there and serving, you could have a profound connection to Hashem. That's the world of halacha. A guy's working and is connecting to Hashem. And that's Avram Avinu, was that madreg of Merkava L'Shchina, of keeping Torah, of living with Hashem. It's a new madreg in Avram Avinu's life that every aspect of Avram connects to Hashem. And at Nevuah, his body did not go crazy anymore. His body stood regular. He's sitting there and he's talking to Hashem. That's in Parshas Vayera. In this Parshas Vayera, Hudi, in the middle of this amazing Mara, Hashem appears to Avram, and Avram Avinu's body is perfectly calm, and it does not. He's with Hashem. At this moment, where did this happen? This new change in the relationship of Avram and Hashem. By the way, this is called in Chazal a new Tukuf in the world. It's 2,000 years, and the world now is a world of Torah. The world of Torah starts from Parshas Vayera, a world where a person connects to Hashem in every aspect of their life, and a new period in the world that starts, a period that eventually we receive the Torah, but the period of Kabbalah Torah starts here. Where did this happen? In Mamre's field. Now, Mamre, who's Mamre? What's this dude? Mamre, what shaykhs? Avram Avinu had a question if he should do bris milah. He wasn't sure. And he asked his three friends, Aner, Eshkol, and Mamre, what do you think about bris milah? Mamre answered in the affirmative. Mamre said, I think you should do it. And since Mamre agreed to bris milah, God met Avram and changed the entire world in Mamre's rishos. Now I have a whole bunch of questions. You ready? Question number one, why does Avram Avinu ask if he should do bris milah? God told him to do it. Question number 2 is we just had bris milah at the end of Lech Lecha. Avram does bris. Avram is now changes. He becomes this connection. His physical body is connected to Hashem. A new world order of the Yid connecting in the deepest way. It's a world of Torah. And in the middle of this new world order, well, Mamre did a nice deed, so shout out to Mamre. And it becomes out. Somebody said hashtag Mamre. Like, what's going on? The Torah interrupted, like, it's the Torah, it's eternity. And it was Chaim's line, who said hashtag Mamre? Chaim said hashtag Mamre. Like, what's this shout out to Mamre's? We're learning Torah. We're reading Torah. It seems like a disruption. I'm sure Mamre is very nice that Mamre told Avram to do bris milah. So we have a kasha, why did Avram Avinu ask Mamre to do bris milah? We have a kasha, why does Mamre get a shout out in the middle of bris milah? What's this like reward to Mamre that he gets a little shout out? What is the reward itself? What does it say that God appeared? It was in Mamre's house. What is that reward? So Dovu, we have many questions that come up from this interesting Chazal. Years ago, I was learning by a Rebbe, and this Rebbe knows Shas and Paiskim. He knows Shas word for word by heart. Shas. I tested, I'm friends with this Rebbe's son, and Friday night we would play a game. When we were little kids, we would read any line in Shas, and he would tell us what Amud it's on, any line in Shas. This person knows Shas Baal Peh. He knows Yerushalmi backwards. I'm talking about Be'iyun. He's written Svarim on the entirety of Shas. Somebody who's a Talmud Chacham is a Torah person. I was learning by this Rebbe, and I met an old friend of my Rebbe. And he called my Rebbe by his first name. It's not my Rebbe's first name. Let's say my Rebbe's name is Shmelka. He said, oh, Shmelka's your Rebbe? Oh, Shmelka's. He started like chuckling. Him and Shmelka were classmates. Now, I thought it was amazingly inappropriate. I thought it was remarkable. You were classmates. He's a big Talmud Chacham today. But the person was trying to, like, maybe pump himself up, me and Shmelka, or maybe put my Rebbe down. And it was a strange behavior. He's a big Talmud Chacham. You were classmates one day. He's a Gain B'Torah. It was very disrespectful. Again, what the shirish is, it was very, very disrespectful to somebody who's a big person. I'll give another example, and then I want to explain. There's a sefer called Sifsei Chaim. Sifsei Chaim was written by the Panovich Mashgiach Reb Friedlander. Reb Friedlander was the Mashgiach in Panovich, a very, very big tzaddik, Reb Chaim Friedlander. In Sifsei Chaim, he makes a claim there was somebody, Yochanan Kohen Gadol, connects to the Chanukah story, but not for now. Yochanan Kohen Gadol was a Kohen Gadol for 80 years, and he went off the derech. Now, the Kohen Gadol's the Gadol Ador. It's one of the greats of the generation, and he went off the derech. And the truth is, people have choice every day of their life, and it's a very, mysterious story of one of the Gedolei Ador becoming that from. The world talks about at-risk kids. I never heard of at-risk Gedolim. And this is a Gadol Ador, went off the derech. I never loved the word at-risk kid. Everybody's at risk. I don't know what it doesn't describe it at risk. We're all at risk, I guess. Maybe there's a bigger risk. I never thought that was the defining factor of somebody's at risk. There are other at risk of we're all at risk. I never thought that was whenever you give a name to something, you're defining something. I always thought it's a terrible name also because it thinks about Shmira. At risk says this person needs Shmira. Shmira is not the answer. At risk is very dangerous. His name is very dangerous. I never liked the name an at-risk kid. I'm not call what you want. I don't care, and I get what people are communicating. I thought it's a very, very weak sauce name, at risk. It's almost saying we didn't do a good job with the Shmira. I would give a different name, maybe I don't know. It just wouldn't be at risk. That the other names. It would not describe anything to me. At risk, every year's at risk. I don't know. It wouldn't describe anything to me. Probably call a soul. I don't know. A soul I don't know. At risk doesn't describe much to me. But nonetheless, this Yochanan Kohen Gadol also at risk. And after 80 years of being a Gadol Ador, he went off the derech. And true Ruchnius, Chazal describe Ruchnius as hard to acquire, v'nayach la'abe, very easy to lose. Ruchnius is something that you could lose, and clearly this Yochanan Kohen Gadol lost it. Chaim Friedland in the Sifsei Chaim says a pshat. I trust the Sifsei Chaim. Again, you have to say, where do you get this pshat from? It's a chiddush. He says that the source, that it means he went off the derech, was he was mevaze divrei chachamim. He did not respect the words of chachamim. Now, how'd that happen? Reb Chaim Friedland says that his friends were the Rabbanan who made gzeros. Shmolka. His old friends were the ones who became the Tanaim and made gzeros. And he didn't take it seriously. He laughed. He said, that gzera? Oh, he made it? No. It wasn't like Chashivtim. It was his childhood friends. And he was mevayish divrei chachamim, and that was the source of his going off the derech. He did not listen to the Rabbanan. It's a person's chayiv. Person doesn't listen to the Rabbanan. It's chayiv to put him in chayrim. It's chayiv chayrim. It's ostracized from the community. And Yochanan Kohen Gadol was mevatel divrei chachamim. Now one can understand the problem. It was his friends, people he grew up with, and he didn't take it so seriously. Now, I want to explain a little bit what happened with Avram Avinu, and I think there's a lot what you and I can get the way I'm understanding it. He's told Bris Milah what's going on. Why does he ask on their Eshkol Mamre? He has 3 friends, and he asks Rishus. God told him to do a Milah. What's he asking permission from anybody? And the way I understand it, it's based on a Sfas Emes, based on teachings from Reb Geisler. I don't want to say I'm representing Reb Geisler or the Sfas Emes, because the way, my own interpretation, the way I'm understanding it. But I'd like to share with the guys as follows, that Avram Avinu has these friends, and they serve Hashem together, and their very rational approach, they see Hashem everywhere. Mi besari echzel Elokai, in our own bodies, we see Hashem in every fruit, in every tree, the sunrise, the sunset. They notice Hashem, and they live with sincerity to a Creator. They have a lot of gratitude to a Creator, and they live very in this world with Hashem. And they're living this existence, this beautiful chevra with Hashem. They're equals of sorts. Of course, Avram Avinu was the Rebbe. He taught them to notice Hashem in the Bria. He taught them to live with Hashem's existence. And they're living as basic equals. Avram Avinu on their Eshkol Mamre. They're called in the Torah Balei Bris Avram, the people who have a bris with Avram. What it means a bris is they had a covenant. They had this very deep friendship. They had a friendship of people living with God sincerely with Hashem. One day Hashem says to Avram, I want you to have a bris milah, and you're living different than the people around you. I'm saying a bris means Hashem says me and you, Avram. And Avram's like, he has friends, and Hashem's telling him you're living different. Now it's starting a new world order. Till then, I don't fully get this yet. Till then, they were living with Hashem, they saw in Teva. There's now going to be a new world that you're going to live higher than this world, the world of Torah. Hashem's going to reveal secrets, and secrets that you can maybe discover deep in the world, but you need Torah to uncover it. Say it in that nusach. And Hashem bringing a bris milah to Avram is saying, Avram, you and I, he's now departing from his friends. He's been asked for a unique task and mission. And he asked Rishus, because derech eretz, he's telling on their Eshkol Mamre, asking permission on bris milah, you're with the group and you're now going to be separate. He derech eretz is expected to say to on their Eshkol Mamre, I have a mission now. It's a goodbye of sorts. I'm sort of being separated from you now. We'll still stay friends, but I have a mission, a unique mission. And he asks Rishus. And Mamre remarkably is Mechazek Avram, gives permission. Now here's what I want to explain. That friend of my Rebbe who was saying Shmulik and was a difficult Messiah, his friend, the childhood friend, became a big gadol. And how do you relate to that? You could feel guilt, you could feel shame, like he's big Amos. The best way to relate is to be mevatel yourself to that, to respect it, to appreciate it, to celebrate it. The best way is to accept also. His best way would be to be mechabed it. And by the way, if he respected it, he has shaykhs to it. If you mechabed it and respect it and mevatel to it, that's Torah. Yochanan Kohen Gadol's friends become the manhigi adar and make zayus. I'm with them. You're mevatel to it, you respect it, you're shaykh to it. Mamre's task is the Yid becomes the Yid. Mamre's task is to become batal to that, is to respect it, to appreciate it, to celebrate it, to say, okay, Yid, to learn to respect it. It's a hard task because the instinct is you feel inferiority, and you have other ways. If something is very powerful, you can make fun of it, and that's an eitzah too. What that person came up to me and mocked spoke disrespectfully to my Rebbe, he really has two choices. To respect it, to be kafaf to it, or to mock it and put it down. Mamre's bittul to Avram Avinu, and the fact that Hashem appears to Avram Be'eloinei Mamre is not a side shout out to Mamre. It means that Mamre is shaykh to the bris. Mamre has shaykhs to this bris. You know why? He was kafuf to it. He told Avram, I'm with you. And he humbled himself to it. And Hashem appears Be'eloinei Mamre is in itself not a side shout out. It's in itself an acknowledgement that you have shaykhs to this bris. What Avram Avinu was given, you're also shaykh because you humbled to it. So now, why is it still here? We're middle of the parasha of Bris. So the way I understand it is that's the Yid's task himself with Torah. It's not a side point. And what's happening is the Yid was handed, he was living in the world, and he was handed a higher madrega. The task of the Yid is to be mevatel to Torah, to be mevatel to a higher das, and then the guy is mevatel to the Yid. Each one humbled, so it's not a side shout out. What Mamre did to the Yid is what the Yid's task is to Hashem and to Torah, to be mevatel themselves to Torah. There's something bigger and deeper. This wasn't a side shout out Mamre, hashtag Mamre. No. The duty itself of the Yid, that's mevatel himself to higher madregas, mevatel himself to Torah, mevatel himself to Ratzon Hashem, mevatel himself to a deeper world. That's the very task that was given to Avram Avinu and to the Yid, to his descendants, progeny right now. And Hashem appearing to Avram in the chelak of Mamre is not a side sugya, it's the sugya of bris. That Avram, you yourself, I'm separating to live a higher calling, to live deeper than the world and bigger than the world. To live this world of connection to Hashem, of bittul to Hashem's ratzon. Parshas Vayera ends, and the parshas are very connected. It ends with Avram Avinu passing the Akedah, the greatest madrega in history of bittul adas. Hashem, your world, what you say, and I'm mevatel myself to that. And that aspect of being mevatel to something higher, if you think about what the bris milah itself, it's amazing what's mashlam a yid, what makes him tamim is the cutting of self. He cuts off a piece and he becomes tamim, becomes whole. The very acknowledgement of my frailty, the very acknowledgement I'm batel to something is mashlim the yid, and that's what the calling of a yid, to live Torah, to live Ratzon Hashem, to live higher. The Yid's mevatel to something higher. And where does the guy, where do we come in? See, either there could be anti-Semitism. At Sinai, Yesina Yarda Lo'olam, hatred came into the world. The word Sinai means sinna, and Chazal say that sinna came to the world. There are two responses when somebody's singled out. You have Honor and Eshkol who tell Avram not to do it. Don't leave us. Be one of us. We don't accept you different. There's the hatred, not accepting of this new madrega. That's one response. That's that person who came up to me, shmulik, like putting down, making fun. I don't accept somebody going to a higher calling. Or you have the mamre response, which is mevatel, please. Avram Avinu, it would be my honor that you would take this step forward. Where can I do to assist? And Hashem appears to Avram in the Rishos of Mamre. Mamre has a part of this. Mamre hosts Avram Avinu when Avram Avinu has this eschus. Mamre is shaykh, very, very shaykh to this. The irony is that Yochanan Kohen Gadol's task, this Yid could have a lot of shaykhs. He should proudly say, I am Rabbi so-and-so's classmate. I'm shaykh. He would mamish get a chelik. Well, you're part of his journey. I always tell the guys at the siyum at the end of the year, celebrate each other's success. When you celebrate somebody's siyum, Rabbeinu Yoina says, if you're in the chabur of tzaddikim, it's a quote from Rabbeinu Yoina, Afal pisha eino oisek kemaseyim. Even though you don't do the same actions, noitel schar, you get the same schar as them. It's Rabbeinu Yoina. He says in Avos that if somebody in your chabura finishes kol haTorah kula and you're friends with them, you get schar of a loimid kol haTorah kula. Rabbeinu Yoina writes this. Look, I can show you in Avos. He says, "Afal pishein oisek kemasem." If you're mevatel to it, you're humble to it, you're encouraging of it, you're accepting of it, you cheer it on, you get the schar. Rabbeinu Yoina writes. Tell the guys at the siyum at the end of the year, guys have on their chelak hundreds of mesechtas. You celebrate it, you appreciate it, you're humble to it, you're shaykh to it. That's the story of Mamre. It's really the story of every Yid's task to humble himself to something bigger, to Hashem and His Torah, and the task of other people. We're witnessing wild times, and we're seeing Goyim who are praising Yidden, who are humbling themselves, and we're seeing Goyim come out very anti-Semitic. Whenever there's today a very big awareness on the Yid, that's Ma'ira and people either a bittel, the Eshkol and Mamre response, the Eshkol and Aner response of putting it down. Don't separate yourself, stop it. And knocking it and attacking it, a sinner, a hatred, it elicits one of two. We're literally witnessing this story, B'Yamenu. It's cool, we're reading the parsha now. We're witnessing there were 3 friends of Avram. 2 out of 3 were against his separation. Eshkol and Aner were not for this bris of Avram Avinu. They did not answer in the affirmative. And Mamre cheered it on. And forever you'll see Goyim. When Yidden remember their Yidden, you'll see Goyim who put it down, who at Sinai Sinai Yardulaylam, and you'll see Goyim that respect. You'll see both responses. The task of anybody is to see truth and be mevatel to truth. The Yid separated, respect the Yid, then a Goya shaykhs to it. Goya gets schar. He's a big person. It's Selim Eloikim. He sees MS. If he wants to become it, he can become it. He wants to stay a guy, stays a guy. Mamre stays a guy, but Hashem appears be'eloine Mamre. He appears to Avram, and Mamre has shaykhs to it. Why does he have shaykhs? Nasalai Eitz Alamila. Mamre gave him chizuk. The Eitz Avram Avinu asked him, because it was a derech eretz, and Mamre cheered him on. As the person should cheer him on, then it's Beloine Mamre. The irony of this guy said, I'm your Rebbe, and he called him Rebbe. I was Rev Guri's classmate. Then he's shaykh to that aliyah. He's shaykh, he's respecting it, he's shaykh to it. It's an instinct of people, if a friend steigs, either to knock it, to make fun of it, to say, oh, Bob, you're me and Bob. They call him his English name always. And they always talk about, often they'll say, oh, Bob, he used to get so mad when we played sports together. Always a very put down type of thing. So that's one response. It's the opposite of bittul. I see you have no shaykhs to shteigen. You're not part of it. When I hear that, so you just excluded yourself from shteigen. If the person with kavod say, oh, Rev so-and-so, I was his classmate. Taka was special then also. Oh, I would have such respect. Truthfully, Hashem appeared be'eloine Mamre. Whoa, you're shaykh to his journey. You yourself are mechabed. You yourself are mevatel. You yourself acknowledge he has talmidim, and you understand what that means. So then you're shaykh to it. That's my understanding right now. There could be deeper things, Manny. That's how I'm wrapping my mind around this memra so far, Menach. You'll tell me if I'm getting it right. This is right now what I'm capable of understanding. Right now, how I'm capable of understanding it. Moshe here. Yeah, I see, this sugya is relevant in all our lives in many, many ways. In many ways, we're shaykh to bigger things than ourselves. You're shaykh to it by being humble to the bigger thing. You don't have to write it off. You don't have to knock it. You don't have to put it down. If you're humble to it, you're humble to it. Then you become shaykh to it. You humble yourself to Torah. You could be shaykh. the instinct you read a sefer you don't understand to just knock it and put it down makes no sense. Okay, so you're not shaykh to it. If you actually respect it, then something could be above your intelligence, and you're shaykh to it because you're humble to it. You could be shaykh to Torah when you're humble to it. Then, by the way, you've got Mamre wasn't part. He wasn't really, but you know what? He became part of the whole thing. You know why? He humbled to it. Last eight, he cheered Avram. He was shaykh to the ganze Sache. The difference to a friend who's succeeding, you'll see friends in yeshiva, friends taking off. You'll see one guy feel guilty and make fun of his friend and try to stop it. You'll see that response. That's an eshkol and on their response. They'll make fun. Of roommates like steiging, they'll put him down. They'll try to stop it. It's ma'ira guilt. They feel they're not shaykh. By the way, they're not shaykh to it. Then they have a friend steiging, and another guy is the most encouraging. I've seen it in yeshiva. You're shaykh to his steiging. His steiging, you're part of it. You're mamish, you have schar from the steiging. You know why you're shaykh? Because you're kafuf to it. And I might not even be doing it. You're not oisik saying, but you're shaykh to it. People's own insecurities, very hard. Avram singled out, not me. Mamre had kashas. So the easier thing is to put it down and hinder it. You hinder it, you're not shaykh to it. Mamre respects and pushes and celebrates it. Hashem appears, Belon. You're shaykh to this. You're mamish in the parsha. He's shaykh to it. He's not the schar with it. Forever, Hashem had this marit Avram Be'aloine Mamre. It's not just a cute shout out. He's shaykh to it. And it's the very task of the Yid himself to hide things. It's from Mivatel, and we're shaykh to it. Manny, am I saying it in the ballpark right, or?
We like it back here, Rebbe.
I'm sharing from your Rebbe, CJ. I'm trying. This is what I'm understanding, but I know also it's more, but I don't want to limit it, but what I understand right now. Rav Ezi Shliki, yes.
It's like a chitzonius where, inside, let's say you're smoldering, your mom is fumigated.
I'm not too much.
But chitzonius,
No. I'm saying no. So I'm saying that's the way to attach to things. If you understand that, you won't inside. I'm talking about an inside work. My biggest shaykhs to the thing is the respect of the thing.
What?
I'm not the biggest shaykhs. This guy's friend Steig, he could jump on the bandwagon by respecting, by encouraging. He's shaykh to it. He's shaykh. That's your best way of being shaykh to big things. Respecting it, celebrating it, appreciating it. So then you're part of the ganze Zach. The irony that if this guy, Yochanan Kohen Gadol and his friends would celebrate it, then he's like the most shaykh to all the things his friends accomplished. Wow. There's a tremendous chizuk in that, and the truth of that. You're part of the whole thing. Put it down. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. The last